Hello, this is the Lord's Legion yet again, and welcome back to another Avengers Alliance video. And in this video, I'm going to be reviewing all the Spec Ops heroes that I've unlocked in the game. Now before we get started, I'm only going to be talking about them in their original costumes, and I haven't unlocked all of them in the game. So if there's any hero in particular you want to know about, check in the description down below and look for some shortcuts. So without further ado, let's begin. First of all, we have Mockingbird, and I've got to say, she is a very difficult character to master. Now what makes Mockingbird interesting is the fact that she starts as a generalist, but as time goes by, she can counteract and become other classes. And over time, she is capable of gaining all the benefits of other classes. Mockingbird is a very difficult character to master, but if you're capable of doing so, then Mockingbird is one dangerous character. Next we have Emma Frost, and she is always a fun hero to play as. Her level 1 mental anguish could take down a whole fraction of an enemy's health if triggered correctly. She can also turn her skin into complete diamond, which reduces damage by a long shot. And she can even increase one character's stats as well as getting rid of all their debuffs. And at the end of the day, Emma Frost is a character that can be played both offensively as well as defensively. Next we have Magik, and she is a rather interesting case. Now on her own, Magik is kinda difficult because she is all mostly about setting up her attacks so that she could use her big level 6. If you can keep her soul charge at full, she is capable of doing a lot of dots as well as pressure points, which makes her level 6 all the more devastating. But if you team Magik up with the right character, then she can be a force to be reckoned with. Next we have Ghost Rider, and he has always been one of my mains. The more enemies attack, the more stacks of sins they gain, which all the more makes Ghost Rider even more dangerous. You can use his level 9 quick action, which makes him all the more strong, depending on the stacks of sins. His chains can also do soul fire, dark void, and even poison to the enemy. And his level 2 penance stare is one of the most powerful attacks in the game, also adding his 50% chance of surviving after being KO'd, and you have one hell of an amazing character. Next we have Havok, and as well, he is a rather fun character. He takes reduced damage from energy attacks and effectively makes his level 2 even more fatal. He can also do an AoE pressure points with his level 6 and could even remove enemy buffs with his level 1. Also add the fact that he has the chance of gaining extra turns as well as having his level 2 to have a one hit KO potential, then essentially you have one solid blaster. Next we have Hank Pym, and he is also a difficult character to master. His main shtick is the smartest man in the room proc. The longer he survives, the more pros he will gain, which includes guaranteed crits as well as ignoring evasive effects. As well as all that, all his attacks can do opportunist effects which could weaken enemy teams. And if you can team him up with Iron Man as well as Mr. Fantastic for example, then you have one deadly team. Next we have Vision, and I honestly love playing as this hero. You could just turn him into an infiltrator, make sure he's phased, and then just attack many enemies before it runs out. His infiltrator form is more about stealth and melee attacks, while his blaster form is more about all of his energy attacks. And if you can use them correctly, not only will Vision be a heavy hitter, but will also be very difficult to attack. Next we have Rescue, and she is a godsend when it comes down to defensive play. Her level 2 can do a protect ability which can also apply magnetize and make the enemy teams unable to do critical hits. Her level 6 ability can also grant all shields, which can not only add more health but can also prevent debuffs. And she can also use her level 1 to provide afterburners and gain more turns, making it reliable for PvP. Next we get to Wonder Man, and I've got to say he is a rather fun character. He's immune to all dots, and he can also protect all allies from single target attacks. Plus the lower his health gets, the stronger and more defensive he becomes. He also has counters for blasters as well as scrappers, and if you can use all his Rise Enough buffs, he could use his level 6 and do a massive hit that could do a lot of damage. Next we have Damion Helstrom, and I think he's a rather interesting character. If you give Damion Helstrom Soulfire or even Dark Void, then chances are his summon attacks will become all the more dangerous. His level 2 can make the whole allies all the more evasive. He is also a great healer, and his summons can even do a huge amount of damage if you set it all up correctly. Next we have Ares, and although he isn't so special on his own, if you could use his E-ISO or even A-ISO, then he becomes even more of a beast. He allows all allies to do special follow-up attacks. His level 2 quick action can do disadvantage to any class. His level 3 can grant all enemy teams despair, blocking all healing effects. And with his E-ISO, the less health he has, the stronger he becomes. Up next we have Black Bolt, and he can be a force to be reckoned with. He can summon any inhuman and could gain benefit from them. He could also do his level 2 attack, which can give him more turns. His level 6 can incapacitate all enemies as well as even block their buffs. And to top it all off, his deadly level 9 can have a potential one-hit KO. And at the end of the day, Black Bolt is a very solid hero. Up next it's Heimdall, and he's amazing both offense and defense. His level 2 could interrupt certain attacks. His level 9 can grant all allies rising up buffs. And his level 6 ability is a perfect setup move for his devastating level 1 attack. Not only making Heimdall a brilliant character for defensive play, but also a huge tank in his own right. Up next we have Nico, and despite how amazing her abilities are, it's really her low health that pulls her down. And sure, one could argue that Back from the Brink can save her, but really it doesn't do her much favours, considering how pathetic her health really is. But despite her health problems, her attacks have a huge chunk of multifunction abilities, which makes her all the more unpredictable. Next we have Iceman, and I've got to be honest, he is such a letdown. Now what really hurts about Iceman is the fact that all of his attacks waste too much of his stamina, and all of his attacks aren't really that good. He only becomes deadly when it comes down to chilled enemies, and if you can use his level 2 and make the whole enemies chilled, then that's fine. But the problem is he has so many cooldowns, it's ridiculous. And yes, he can become all the more powerful, but by the time that happens, he's pretty much dead on arrival. Next we have Falcon, and he is a very good supportive character. He can increase all allies' defense by 50%, and he can also do some rising up buffs, and even grant them extra turns. Not to mention he can also grant himself nimble, which can make him all the more evasive, as well as gaining all allies combat awareness, and can even summon other characters like Hawkeye and Constructor, to name a few. Next we have Anti-Venom, and he is so powerful. All of his attacks have a chance to get rid of all enemy buffs. He also has an amazing regeneration ability, and he is immune to burns, bleeds, poison, what have you. Plus his level 2 AoE can add opportunist debuffs, webbed, and even depower a whole enemy team. And at the end of the day, Anti-Venom is very difficult to kill. Next we have Star-Lord, and he is one of the best infiltrators in the game. If any enemy team has an opportunist debuff on them, then chances are Star-Lord can counterattack you easily. Star-Lord himself can apply pretty much every opportunist debuff under the sun. He can also grant rising up buffs, burn enemies, chill enemies, fatal blow, and even has a level 9 that can exploit opportunist debuffs. Next we have Blade, and he is such a beast. His level 1 alone could do 3 stacks of bleeds. If he hits a bleeding target with his level 2, then he could heal himself with health as well as stamina. He could also pre-counter any enemy attack with his level 6 that has fatal blow. And if you could use his level 9, not only does he remove debuffs and gain 2 turns, but he also becomes even more powerful in the process. Next we have Crystal, and although I haven't had much time with her, I thought she was a fun character regardless. Crystal has a variety of attacks that could burn people or even freeze them. She can also do a force field that not only protects them, but can also interrupt enemy attacks. She's also capable of draining enemy stamina, blind them, and can even get them disoriented. And with the limited time I had with Crystal, she was fun regardless. Next we have Beta Ray Bill, and having a blaster and a bruiser combination, then there will be a guaranteed destruction. Beta Ray Bill can do a huge variety of electricity type debuffs, and if you use his level 9 attack while enraged ×2 and a guaranteed crit, then you are guaranteed to have a one-hit KO. And having an electricity type character makes him all the more dangerous. Next we have Miles Morales, and I do wish he had a bit more of a buff. His passives were more or less the same as Peter Parker's, and both had pretty much the same level 1 attack, though his level 2 ability can grant incapacitation as well as envenomed to one enemy. But his most special ability is his level 9, in which he could stun an entire enemy team, but with the cost of him losing his own turn. But regardless, Miles Morales isn't a bad character at all. Next we have Ant-Man, and honestly I thought he was going to be a little more special. Then again, he can summon ants that could do opportunist debuffs against a whole enemy team, and his level 6 can exploit all opportunist debuffs and then some. Plus he can follow up any attack against any enemy that has Intimidators. And at the end of the day, he makes a solid teammate with Hank Pym. Up next we have Spitfire, and I honestly love this character. She can do 2 attacks per round, and every single one of her attacks can apply Disoriented. Her level 2 AoE attack can apply Open Wound to all enemies and making them bleed, and her level 9 is very devastating against a bleeding target. And if Spitfire can finish off any enemy with her level 6, then she can pretty much regain all her health and stamina back. Next we have Jessica Jones, and she was the very last character I've unlocked until the game shut down. But from what I know, her level 6 provided a lot of opportunist debuffs as well as doing an open wound attack. Plus her level 1 could grant grit, and considering she's a bruiser and gains enraged, made her an already powerful character. If only I had more time with Jessica Jones. If only I had more time. Next we have Red She-Hulk, and she can be a formidable hero. She can protect single target attacks from energy and radiation effects, and can give herself another stack of energy, thus increasing all of her stats. Her level 6 can also do Aftershock, which can be very devastating to the whole enemy team, and her level 9 can consume all energy and exploit opportunist debuffs. She isn't anything overpowered, but she is rather fun. Next we have Jane Foster 4, and I find her to be a little underwhelming. Sure, she can do a lot of electricity debuffs, and she can also do rising up buffs and even create shields. Plus her level 1 has a chance to interrupt enemy attacks, and her level 9 can do insane amount of damage. The problem with Jane Foster is the fact that she spends way too long on setting up her level 9 attack. Next we have Blue Marvel, and he is insanely powerful. He has a chance of getting rid of any class buffs, and he is also capable of disabling any tech user's abilities. But most importantly, he is able to use his level 6, which can remove debuffs as well as gain all rising up buffs, followed by a devastating level 9 which could exploit near enough anything and is a guaranteed one-hit KO. And finally, we get to Adam Warlock, and he was made to destroy this game. All of his attacks can do insane amount of damage and becomes even more dangerous when he has his cosmic shields, as well as getting attacked by other enemy attacks. But what really makes him overpowered is the fact that he has a quick action power that could grant the whole allies an extra turn, including himself. And with all that being said, this concludes my video. Thank you all for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Take care and have a good one.